Welcome to Fast Lane Philosophies, the podcast where we dissect high-level business moves and chop it up with the culture's absolute finest. Dropping into the studio today is someone who knows a thing or two about speed, not just on the tracks he drops, but in the way he builds his entire empire. We've got the independent powerhouse himself, the CEO of the Masterclass affiliates, the one and only Ferrari Narmer in the building.
Live for the future because its past is unchangeable. Today, decisions affect our lives tomorrow.
You've been feeding the streets with some heavy rotation lately, tracks like Today, Tanya, and Foreplay. Break down the energy behind these specific records for the listeners. What side of Ferrari Narmer are we getting on these?
They represent different dimensions of the same version. Today is about immediate execution, living for the present, and capitalizing on now. Tanya hits more personal, story frequency, details in a world with dynamics. And Foreplay, that's the atmosphere. Setting the mood, showing that versatility. You get a full spectrum of the artist and knows how to control the room, whether it's high energy, smooth.
Word on the street is your studio workflow is insanely fast. You don't waste time when the mic is on. Where does that urgency come from? And how do you maintain that elite level of quality when you're moving at that speed?
The urgency comes from understanding that time and currency you can't buy. When I'm in a booth, I'm not experimenting, I'm executing. I already done the mental work before the beating plays. The quality stays because it's pure intuition. Over a decade of doing this means that my first instinct usually is the sharpest.
You're the CEO of your own LLC out of North Carolina. How vital is independent ownership to you, and what's the biggest lesson you've learned transitioning from artist to executive?
Independent ownership isn't a trend for me. It's the foundation. Operating under my own LLC means that I control the masses narrative, the distribution, and the quality. The biggest lesson I learned from transitioning from an artist to an executive is the passion, but structure to keep the lights on. You have to treat your catalog like a real estate portfolio.
You talk a lot about legacy, protecting your circle, and building an empire for your daughter and future generations. When it's all said and done and the music history books are written, what is the exact legacy you want the name Ferrari Narmer to leave behind?
When the history books are written, I want them to say Ferrari Narmer was a builder. It was not just about the chart or any streams. It's about the blueprint I left behind for my kids. I want them to grow up knowing that they dad didn't just participate into something. You know what I mean? Like, he built something solid for us. The ultimate legacy is mostly security, knowledge, and a name that commands respect and independence for generations to come. That is how the board is set, man. Every move is pretty much calculated.
You recently dropped a limited edition custom sneaker line with themes rooted in quantum physics and the vortex of time. That is a massive leap from standard hip-hop merch. What sparked the idea to merge high science with high fashion footwear?
Because high standard merch is lazy. I wanted to design something that challenges the mind before you even lace them up. Quantum physics and the vortex of time. That's about understanding energy, space, and how we manipulate time to build wealth. Hence meets high fashion. If you're walking in the footwear, you're stepping into a completely different mental frequency. And my favorite ones are the number ones, the Master Spawns editions. Ice, having the ice mentality, And I'm not talking about methamphetamine, like the narcotic. I'm talking about like Sub-Zero Mortal Kombat, you know what I mean? And, as a kid, I grew up listening to music from up north. I grew up on the East Coast. Rodney King Jr., 9 months after the actual Rodney King riot, which is, I guess, a hell of a coincidence.
Man, what did I tell y'all at the top of the hour? He is actively laying down the asphalt for the future. Ferrari, brother, I want to thank you for pulling up today. Thank you for the transparency, the raw wisdom, and for showing the next generation that you don't have to compromise your vision or your ownership to reach the top. From the North Carolina roots to the global blueprint, the Master affiliates are clearly operating on a different frequency. To everybody tuning in at home, in their cars, or in the studio, make sure you go stream today, Tanya, and foreplay right now on Spotify and Tidal. Protect your circle, protect your peace, and keep moving at the speed of thought. Ferrari, final word is yours, man.
Appreciate the time, check out any of my music. You can go on any major platforms, and you can keep up with me with my YouTube channel, which is the Normal Palette 7. That's the most recent one. Signing in and out, Ferrari Narmer 1.